I love nostalgia. In fact, I actively find myself looking for experiences that remind me of my younger days through gaming. However, while Gargoyles the animated series consumed many of my Saturday mornings, I never played the video game adaptation. With the release of Gargoyles Remastered, I finally have the opportunity to dive back into this gothic world and see what I missed out on. That said, I can only imagine the frustration this game would have caused me as a kid, given the many headaches it's given me as an adult. Gargoyles Remastered packs in everything from the original Sega Genesis release with some added updates to the graphics and systems. When it comes to the remastered offerings, it's pretty surface level, but I did enjoy the one-button press switch to retro graphics. However, the menus lack personality and flair, bringing down the overall presentation. The main menu doesn't offer any extras either. I would have loved to see an art gallery or history here to enhance the remastered effort, but what you see is what you get. Outside of the new difficulty options, this is a faithful recreation of the original for better or for worse. However, the key word there is worse, because this game is not good. After the first stage, I can see why it isn't regarded as one of the Disney software greats next to The Lion King and Aladdin. Well, let me just add that the original graphics are awesome. As boring as the environments and enemies are, the gothic presentation and pixel art looks amazing. Also, the music is great no matter which mode you play in, but that's where the compliments stop. Gargoyles Remastered throws you into the action from the start. After entering the first stage, you'll be attacked within seconds, which becomes a constant theme for level beginnings moving forward. You have a basic melee attack tied to a button press, so get to mashing because that's your only attack for the entire game. Strangely, it's really difficult to even tell if your hits connect. The remastered animations, while they resemble the cartoon, don't really translate to the style of gameplay, making me wish they developed an entirely new game and simply offered the original as an extra. Further, some enemies seem to absorb attacks as I stun-locked them until they eventually fell. I could never tell if I was hitting the enemy or not. In the event that multiple enemies are approaching you, there's no defense. You simply have to hope that you have enough health to make it through the fight. I will say that although the game is very challenging, the biggest obstacle isn't the enemies, environmental hazards, or even the bosses. No, it's the vaulting poles. I think the developers knew this because there are level sections dedicated to these annoying things that take pixel-perfect precision to get through. The entire gaming experience comes off as broken as I found myself constantly trying to cheese through each section. Even during boss battles, there was always a way to stun lock them without taking any damage. It's sad, but I honestly became so frustrated with dying that I opted for such low means to progress. There's also a rewind feature that works exceptionally well as you trigger it with the press of a button. However, there isn't an on-screen menu that lets you see where the timeline is or anything like that. Aside from that, the experience is over before it begins. There's very little actually here because you'll see pretty much everything the game has to offer in the first stage. Your approach to combat or navigation doesn't change outside of a few maze-like puzzles, but it creates an experience that I was never excited to pick up and play. No one asked for Gargoyles Remastered, and I can see why. While the 16-bit gothic graphics are gorgeous, the gameplay doesn't hold up regardless of which style you're playing in. The combat is dull, the platforming sections are frustratingly difficult due to bad controls, the bosses are laughable, and the experience is over before you know it. Although the added modes and rewind features are cool, I'd say this is a remaster release for diehards only and not a reason to play a game that you think you missed out on. Noisy Pixel is giving Gargoyles Remastered a 4.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out our Patreon to help support our continued growth and subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Noisy Pixel.